How you doing, man?
Doing great, man. Just trained today and just chilling until more chaos happens in this next few hours. More training to go. So
More training to go for you. I mean, this must be kind of a challenging time. You had like two fights that you were going to prepare for, one that fell out and then another one that fell out, and now you're still having to train. So that must, you're so close to getting to your fight. How frustrating must that must be?
oh, that's very frustrating, man. Very frustrating. Yeah, it just it sucks because I do this for a living. I train hard,
Hmm.
and this is what I love to do. So, and obviously, when you train, you want to be rewarded. The fight is the reward.
Yeah.
Obviously, you want to have a win. You want to perform well.
Hmm.
So, like, it just got taken out of my hands. Like, I have no control over it. So, I'm just keeping that mindset. It's frustrating, but I got to focus what I can control. And the only thing I can control is training, keeping my mind right, staying focused, and hoping another opportunity comes shortly. So, that's all I can do now. So,
Hmm. Absolutely. Now, before I get started, I just want to thank you for coming on the podcast and taking your time to come in and let me interview here. Again, like I said, I know you've kind of been through a lot in the last couple of weeks. Um, just to before I get into that stuff, I know we kind of opened up with that. I gotta ask, how do you say your nickname?
oh, Kid Kavenbo.
Yeah, what it like the name doesn't sound like familiar to like English. Like, is it like in a different language? Like, how? Like, what does it mean?
So Kavimbo is actually Norwegian.
Okay.
Uh, I'm not Norwegian, but so the name it's my dad's adopted last name.
Hmm.
So I just honor that out of him when he was adopted and all that stuff. So Kid Kavimbo, it just had a ring to it, and it's stuck ever since. Because I was at the time like the youngest grandkid on that side, and everyone on that side is like my family. Obviously, like we don't look anything like them. Like they're all tall and everything.
Hmm.
But like I'm Mexican, that's my heritage. My dad's last name was actually Munoz. Then he got adopted to Cavimbo when he was a kid. But I just my parents wanted me to have the Munoz last name because it's Mexican, Latino culture and all that stuff. So that's where it stuck. But I just honor the Cavimbo name in my nickname. So Kid Cavimbo.
That's really neat. I think that's really cool, actually. I found like sometimes like some fighters will do it because they fought a certain way and then they look a certain way and that's how they get the nickname, whatever. I know I had one guy, his name was Crazy Horse, and there's a reason
Oh yeah,
for it, right?
yeah.
But
Charles Bennett, right?
I'm sorry.
Charles Bennett, Crazy Horse.
Actually, no, that's not the one I was gonna say. A guy from
Okay.
the UK actually that just fought in that one. I'm trying to think of promotion. A really big promotion there. They're under the UFC Fight Pass, but yeah, he
Cage
just had a
Warriors.
fight. I'm sorry,
Cage Warriors.
Cage Wars. Yeah, Josh Reed. Um,
Okay.
yeah. He had that kind of nickname, so he had his whole different story. But that's really cool that that's the way you honor your family and your heritage. Um, Before I get any further with your fights that you were supposed to have, um, did you get the chance to fight? Get a chance to watch the fights on the weekend?
Yeah, I watched a couple of them that were on there. Uh, Pretty good card, The main event was good. Robert Whitaker. I think a lot of people underestimate that dude.
One
Like
hundred
he
percent.
looked very good in that fight.
Yeah, and what I was actually going to ask you, I meant the boxing fights, but yeah.
Oh, the boxing fights. Yeah, I was watching UFC. I seen some of the clips of the Ben Askren,
Hmm.
Jake Paul thing. It's just it's hard for me to watch stuff like that. Just like I don't know, they're all over the place at that event. Like they're doing concerts and like it's like is it you guys fighting or were you putting a spectacle? So it's like for me, I like watching fights. Uh, I've never been really into the concert thing, music. Like I like music, but I don't know. I can't sit there and watch people perform. So it's just yeah, I was watching UFC fights, but yeah, I seen like the clips and all that, and heard like like seeing Ben Askren get flattened out. So uh, it's funny.
Well, Well, I do want to ask you about that. I mean, for me, I didn't like it. I just don't understand the music, and it's like just get to the fights. That's what I love about UFC. That's what I love about MMA. It just they get straight to the point. They cut the bullshit. It's just like okay, let's obviously they want to generate that revenue. When they have the pay-per-view cards, they're going to put a lot of time and effort and talk about the fighters like yourself or other fellow fighters. But that being said, I got to ask you, and this is more of your opinion, but do you think that was a fixed fight?
Uh, I don't know, man. Honestly, like I could see how it was. It could be, but then I could also see how it's not. So like, part of me is
Yeah.
saying, it's like okay, like so before that even happened, like I was leaning towards Ben Askren just slow because the fact that he's an MMA fighter. I think MMA fighters are like tough to me, the toughest athletes on the planet. There's a lot you have to go through in the training camps that people don't see. So it's very tough on the body, the mind, and everything. But so just for that fact, I thought, okay, well, he might be able to win. Just his striking, and like we all know, Ben Askren's not the best striker. But I figure, he's trained with some top guys, probably took a lot of beatings in the gym, so it should be nothing new for him.
Yeah.
To get in there, he should be able to take some damage. But I don't know, man. Like, I seen it. Jake Paul, he's obviously learning boxing. Uh, he's learning the skill sets, the fundamentals, and all that stuff. But to see Ben go out like that, I don't know. I thought it was fairly quick. And the other thing that got to me was like that his wife was all hugging him, smiling after he got,
Yeah.
he lost like that. So it's kind of a little weird to me. I know people could say, oh, well, but I don't know. I just noticed like anytime you see like fighters when they lose, their wife's always crying.
Yeah.
McGregor's wife cried. I remember DP's wife, Dustin Poirier's wife, was crying after he got slept. You see it all the time, so it was kind of weird to see her smiling. People were like, "Oh, well, they got a fat paycheck," but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just a little weird, man. The whole thing's just strange to me.
Yeah, and another thing was he got up in like 3-4 seconds, and I understand that when a fighter's not okay, like obviously you've been in fights, you've put guys to sleep, like you've knocked guys out. You know that if the refs thinks the fight's over, they're gonna stop the fight, right? But they stopped it so damn quick. Like it was like he got up, he was good to go. And usually in boxing, you
Yeah,
get to your fight feet and you got your hands up, you're good to go. And they stopped it. It was like, come on.
yeah. I also could see that maybe like Askren maybe underestimated him because he's a YouTuber. He probably got clipped, went out, and I think the referees were all in on it. Like, let's get him out of there quick, so Jake Paul gets the W.
Yeah.
Because the longer like the fight goes, obviously it's not going to play well. They might expose Jake Paul how good he really is. You know what I mean? His cardio, that kind of stuff. So the quicker he could get out of there, I think the better for him and the whole organization, so they keep that money flow coming in.
Yeah. And speaking about the whole event, there was I don't know if you saw the video, there was backstage altercation with Tyron Woodley and Jake Paul and his team. I mean, I don't know how much you heard or looked into it, but a lot of other fellow UFC fighters have really backed up Tyron Woodley and said like, I want to get a piece of Jake Paul. Like a lot of guys are like, gun for this guy. I think even um, Daniel Cormier is like, yeah, I'll be his bitch ass.
Yeah, yeah. I think I seen something on Twitter on that. I don't know. Like I think he's just like an arrogant kid, YouTuber. So I understand like why people are getting upset, like they want to defend the MMA community and all that. But at the same time, like those guys you're feeding into what they're trying to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Like he's calling all these people out just so because nowadays you got the internet, man. The internet's powerful. Social media is powerful. You call someone out, whatever, and then people will talk about it. So that's what he's doing. Just people are talking about it, and I think the less you talk about it, I think it just kind of goes away. But obviously, like people are just gonna keep talking. All like I want to fuck that guy up. My thing is like these MMA fighters they fall into like their own demise. They want to go over to box and because I think they were looking at the dollar signs, but it's like there's no dignity in that.
yeah,
Why don't these boxers come do an MMA fight? Like for me, like honestly, someone's calling me out, like yeah, I'll go box with you, but we're gonna do an agreement. We're gonna do a boxing match, and then we're gonna do an MMA fight right after.
Mm-hmm.
And that like I'd agree to that for sure. Okay, I'm gonna come to your game, whatever. And then after that, you got to come to my game. It's only fair. Like, why are these boxers calling out MMA guys to boxing? And I know boxers are like, oh well, because they strike. It's a part of it. But no, like let's do the full fight. Like I boxed with boxers before, and it's cool. But I mean, I want to be able to use my other weapons. I mean, I feel like I'm limited when I'm just using hands. When I could be using kicks, takedowns, clinch, and everything. And I feel that's where I really thrive. So it's like it's not fun for me. Like even when I come from a jiu-jitsu background, when I'm just doing jiu-jitsu, it's cool. But like I want to be able to punch someone on the floor and mix it all up. That's what I enjoy doing. So when you got these guys, they're just one dimensional. Of course, they're gonna have the advantage because this is all they're working on. If they're training, if they're a true athlete, like Floyd Mayweather, for example, they're putting all their hours into their hands. When you got the MMA guy, he has to spread his training sessions to each discipline if they're intelligent enough to do that. So that's what I see. I don't know. I think a lot of these guys, to me, I don't know. I think the boxer mindset, oh, we're better than these MMA guys. I don't look at it that way. But they're stuck in their heads, stubborn. So until you really get beat up in MMA fights, when you really understand, because it's a different game in there when you got 4-ounce gloves and you got some dude just welling on you. And it really changes your mindset fast.
Well, and again, and I think you brought up a really good point earlier about internet being a powerful thing. It brings out a lot of attention to some of these guys or these girls that do things that aren't obviously the most popular decisions. I mean, and I think that's kind of what Colby Covington was going for. I don't believe that Colby is like that all around. I don't know if you know personally, but he's just all that shit that he wore, the mega hat and the two fucking suits. I don't think that's all a game because that's what he did. He knows that people are gonna want to watch him get his ass beat, and I think him and Kamaru Usman's fight was probably one of the best fights I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was a good fight.
That's a crazy.
Yeah, like Colby don't bug me, man. Like I know he could get down. He talks his smack, whatever. My thing is like if you're gonna run your mouth and do all that, you got to be able to like back it up, showcase it. Because you get some people that do that and they're not even a real fighter. Like they can't fight for shit, So that's the thing. If you're gonna be able to do that, you got to be able to back it up, and it's real simple. Like I'm into the martial art thing, but like to me, you got to be able to sell yourself. It's not just about the fighting. You want to bring in the dollars and all that. You got to be able to sell yourself. So in that aspect, I understand. But if you want to take that route, I think it's cool. But you got to be able to back it up in the cage.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now I do want to move on here. So obviously you had a fight booked with Mark. Things fell apart, and then you get another one with Jamie Simmons. I mean, what was the mindset once you had a replacement fight and then that fight fell through? Like, what was the emotions going through there?
Yeah, so when he pulled out, like Mark pulled out, I was like, man. So I was like, it was still like plenty of time, like 5 weeks out.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, let's just see what happens now. And they were able to find a replacement. So I was like, okay, it worked out good. Yeah, I thought they were like similar fights, but I don't know, man. I was just like kind of disappointed. I was like, this fight card was like huge. 261, first one back with fans. You got good fights on the card. So I thought this was a great opportunity for myself and everybody on the card. So it was really like when Mark pulled out, like it was annoying. But then they were able to get a replacement, so it was cool. So but then when this one fell out, it was just like, man, super frustrating because missing that big moment right there just to fight on that card. So I don't know, like I know people get hurt and all that stuff. So I'm not here to sit here and say, oh, they were scared or they're making excuses. It's real easy to get frustrated and point the finger and all that. But hey, I don't know. All I know, like me, like when I'm seriously hurt, like I'll know. But I mean, I feel like some guys, I don't know, they're able to go, but I don't, for some reason, I don't know. To me, like when it's a big moment, like you got to bite down and say, fuck it, And I feel like this is a big moment. Like in my mindset, I'm already 2-0 over those guys, like 1-0 over Mark Striegel and then 1-0 over JP Simmons. You know what I mean? Yeah. I feel like I did my part in the training camp and everything. Like, and I was ready to go this week. I was actually supposed to fly out today. So, yeah, man, it really sucks,
Well, and I can only imagine how you feel about that. I mean, because you put in all that time in the camps. Like, I don't think the average fan, or as people call them, the casuals. I don't think they really truly understand what going through a camp is like. And I mean, if it was just you said you're gonna fight tomorrow and you cut like 5 pounds, I think every fighter would be like, okay, whatever, don't want to fight tomorrow, that's good. But when you're doing this for like sometimes a month or a month and a half of a camp, maybe even more, and then you cut all that weight, you're working hard to get to that weight that you need to do, and then if I pull all those apart, it's almost like there's no what did I get out of this, right? It's frustrating.
Yeah. No, it is. And like yeah, I can't say this about all MMA fighters because I know a lot of MMA fighters that are even in the UFC. And to me, they're worth the shit, man. Like, like I respect them for getting in the cage, but like their work ethic's terrible. They don't train. Like the manager hits them up and they'll fight that week. Like I give them credit for that. But like I can't respect an athlete like that. You know, I respect the athletes that are, they're in the gym every day. They're trying to get better. They respect their craft. They respect themselves. They show up to training schedules on time. They're not a fucking slob. They respect themselves. So like me, that's how I am, man. Like I've been doing this my whole life. I take this very seriously. I'm always in the gym training.
Mm-hmm.
Like always, I do it. I try to do everything right, man. Nobody's perfect, but like I'm a true martial artist, and I respect what I do. And I also know like if I don't train hard, that person in the cage is gonna tear my head off. So I'm trying to hurt that person before they hurt me. So this is why like I take this very seriously. And when I see these guys that don't, it's like it's disgusting, honestly. But like for me, like I said, like I'm always like in the gym training hard, and then for something like this to happen, not be able to fight, just it really sucks because I dedicate like my whole life to this. Uh, everyone always, oh, go do a hobby. Like this is my hobby. Like I don't care about really nothing else. This is what I enjoy doing. I live for this. So like when I'm not able to fight, it's very frustrating. Like I need violence in my life. So
Mm-hmm.
this Saturday was the day I could get violent, and now it's like taken out uh away from my hands. So it was like really frustrating. But I just gotta stay focused, move forward, and hopefully something comes up soon. So
Well, and I mean, like the fact that you actually had a proper camp this time, because with your last fight, it was a bit of a short notice, if I'm correct.
it was like
You had
a
the
day and a
prep
half.
to do it.
Yeah. So yeah, that was like cool too, like to have a full camp and everything, prepare. It's different with those short notice fights. Like that was the first time I did a short notice. It's like it's very different mentally. Like you're not like I felt like I wasn't nervous. I always think you need to be nervous going into those fights. Because during fight camp, you're thinking about it the whole time. You have the date, you have the opponent, so it's constantly in your head. I think it builds up, builds up. So come fight day, it's like okay, here it goes, and you're just like ready to release. Versus like a short notice, there was nothing built. It just kind of come catch you off guard, and you don't have time to be nervous and build nothing up in your head. You're just okay, let's go. You know what I mean?
And with the UFC, did they contact you at all? Did they say they're going to try to push the fight at another date, or they're just going to find another opponent for you? What's the deal there?
Yeah, so I think it's in the works right now. They're talking about rescheduling the fight. Uh, so we'll see. But it's just like I think UFC is like they're having events every weekend, so I'm seeing like there's a lot of guys booked. Uh, but yeah, I can't really say much, but they're working on something right now. So
Okay.
hopefully we'll have something soon.
Well, it's good to hear that they are, because I know you probably want to get in as quick as you can, I'm sure, after having these two opponents falling out. That being said, did they offer you any show money at least? Were they able to compensate you a bit?
Nah, they didn't. I don't know how all that works, but
That's stupid.
yeah. I mean that's another thing too. Like when you're like we train and all that stuff for this, and somebody pulls out and you're not able to fight. I wish that was something that would like maybe change the MMA, but who am I to say? I'm just starting out in the UFC, so maybe bigger names need to talk. Which they're already doing that, but yeah. So for me, I mean, I never got into this for money, but obviously you want to get paid for your time and all that, your value. So
Mm-hmm. Now that being said, so talking about your career here, I mean, you've had pretty much a perfect record, including your amateur career. Your only loss is to Nate Maness on a short notice. Does that kind of display the level of athlete that you are?
what do you mean as far as display?
Sorry, like I mean, Nate Maness is a guy. I mean, he's a prospect. I think as like yourself. And that being said, I mean, losing to him other than on short notice, um, that's your only loss. I mean, does that just kind of show that like that you are a high level athlete?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you look at Nate Maness, like he's a tough dude. You know, he's his last fight like finished the guy. You know, so he's looking pretty good right now. And like the fight with me, if you watch the fight, like he was it went to distance. You know, I felt like I had more. I was being the more aggressor in the fight, the more controlled time and all that stuff. But that's why you can't leave it in the hands of the judges. But for sure, man, like that's why this Saturday it hurts too, because not only that I can't fight, but I really want to showcase what I could do on
Mm-hmm.
the cage, in the cage. You know what I mean? Especially on a big card, like it was a great opportunity for me to showcase who I really am to the UFC, to everybody watching, and hopefully I'll be able to do that soon, so everybody could really see. I don't like just talking about it. I know how good I am, but you know I want to show it to the world.
Yeah, and that being said, you're talking about never leaving it to the judges. Again, I know you mentioned that you watched the fights on the weekend. What do you think about some of the decisions? I mean, I don't like they're very controversial.
Yeah, so I mean, it's always weird to me when you get one judge say like 28-29, the other
Yeah,
judge 28-29, the other person, you got the third judge 30-27 to one of them. It's like, or what the hell was that guy watching? You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
crazy. I think that it needs to change the judging system, the scoring system. They
one,
need to do something, figure it out, because these judges, these guys don't, I don't, they don't know what they're doing, man. They don't train. Like, they're boxing judges. Like, we're getting scored on a boxing system when this is MMA.
yeah,
So I think MMA needs to have its own system. Even the weight classes are redundant as well. You know what I mean? Like 135 is bantamweight, or 170 is welterweight. You know what I mean? Like I know they like we use boxing like what is it? Like not the okay, so yeah, that's what it is. We don't use boxing weight classes, but we use their score system. So it's weird. Like
yeah, yeah,
we're not going to use the boxing weight system, but we use their score system. Like I rather use the
yeah,
boxing weight system than the score system. You know, I think the boxing weight makes a little more sense than MMA weight, and I
yeah.
think that by adding those more weight classes in, I think you get more competitive fights. You get people fighting more at their natural weight, and you don't have those issues where people passing out the weigh-ins. So, but yeah, those are things that I would like to see change. Will it happen? Who knows? But maybe more people need to talk about it.
100%. And talking about a couple of those fights, I don't know what your thoughts were. I watched that one female fight. It was Jessica Penne and Lupita Goodness.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know about that fight. I'm not going to give any disrespect to Jessica Penne because she's tough and, she's a vet. I just don't understand how you win a fight by your only offense is trying to pull guard like you. I'm not sure what she was trying to do, but there's a couple
yeah,
times where she was just hanging on the girl for like a couple minutes, and I understand that's control time. I don't really understand how that wins you a fight when the newcomer she came in, she's throwing her all around the cage. She's
yeah,
piecing her up on the feet. You got to wonder with some of the judging. I don't understand how they see that.
yeah. Well, I was surprised on that one just because most judges, like, they don't know what they're doing. So I thought they would score her because it
Yeah.
looked like she was the more aggressor. It
Mhm.
was a close fight, but I think it could have went either way. But you're like, uh, was it Lupe was like throwing like being more aggressive, trying to like I think
Yeah.
finish the fight where the other Jessica was like pulling guard, trying to do the triangle. I know what she was trying to do, but it's not as aggressive. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. And even like the one with the Luis Pena fight, I kind of questioned that fight as well. I mean, I love the guy too, but at the same time, you kind of have to wonder like, how would the judges really see that fight? I mean, I don't know about you. I don't know if you watched that fight, but I can't remember the last time I saw someone take calf kicks like that because you only could take about 4 or 5 of them, and your leg is fucking dead.
oh yeah, those calf kicks they're damaging, man. But yeah, it's crazy to see that like that go down that way. You know?
Well, and there's not too many fighters that I know of or I've seen that have said, yeah, I can take 6 or 7. Like he took shit out of those kicks and no problem. I mean, the guy still kept coming forward. He's a tough dude.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Um, but yeah, anyway, so like a lot of great prospects like yourself, and I mean, you got guys like Adrian Yanez that are in the mix for the bantamweights. You got Gustavo Lopez, Nate Maness, guys like yourselves are coming into the UFC. Do you find like this is really bringing up the bantamweight division again?
Yeah, I think like the bantamweight division stacked. I think it's one of the most stacked divisions in the UFC. Like, if I had to say, like between bantamweight, featherweight, and lightweight, to me, those are the most stacked divisions.
100%.
Uh, this is my opinion. Like, I don't know, you just got so many guys, talented guys in the pool. It's like, so it's like I feel like it's easy to get left behind in the division as well if you're not being active. Because there's so many guys. So I think it's you want to get out there, showcase what you could do, so you can start moving up in the rankings, so you're not getting pushed down. But yeah, man, it's a tough division for sure. A lot of killers coming up. So uh, I think like in the next year or two, like the division is going to be even like more dangerous. You know what I mean? Uh, maybe you'll see big names, like more big fights come out of the division.
Yeah, and I feel the problem is that you have to stay consistent, if that makes any sense, because there's so much talent coming in so quickly, and the UFC has
Yeah.
done such a great job to be able to expand and expand with so much talent coming in, and not just the men but the women too. I mean, they're really flying in, and younger
Oh yeah.
too.
Women's divisions, like they're getting. It's like you're seeing the growth in those divisions. You know what I mean? The talent's coming in. Like the female fighters are getting better, more technical, looking like real athletes in there now.
Oh, 100%. And I can only remember when they came with the strawweight division and they're talking smack like, oh, what these ladies are like, it's nothing. And I mean, you're looking at the flyweights, and now the flyweight ladies, they're starting to really come out there and starting to really bring some great fighters in there. So it's I'm glad to see like the UFC starting to really work hard at making the divisions more competitive and giving better fights. And I mean, talking about like your division, bantamweight. I mean, forget about the top 15 guys. I mean, just like yourselves that are just outside the mix there. I mean, everybody is like, it's like a tough fight even before you get to the top 15.
Oh yeah, there's like a lot of guys that aren't even ranked. Those are like tough guys. You know what I mean? Tough fights.
Mm-hmm. Now, I do want a couple of your predictions for the big card this weekend. Unfortunately, you couldn't be on there. But that being said, the three title fights, I just wanted your thoughts. Masvidal and Usman, who do you have in that fight?
I got Kamaru Usman. I think decision. I think the fight kind of goes similar like the first one. I would like to see Masvidal pull it off, but I think Usman takes it.
Mm-hmm. And Zhang and Namajunas, who you got?
Yeah, I think that's gonna be like fight of the night for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going towards saying on that one.
Yeah, me too. I talked with another fighter, and he mentioned like I think that's gonna be the closest fight on the entire card.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be super competitive. I think that fight's gonna steal the whole show. Now that I'm not on it.
Uh, that's all right, man. And Valentina and Andrade. I mean, you gotta. I
You
would want
can't.
to be fair with that one, but I got Valentina.
Yeah, Valentina for sure. I don't see nobody. I think she's miles away of everybody in the division, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So I think out of all the title fights, I think that's the one we'll probably see a finish. And so, no disrespect to Jessica, but just think Valentina just skill sets above.
100%. Just a couple more for you here, and I'll let you go. So obviously, without they just transitioned to the Venom fight gear deal. What's your thoughts on it? Do you like it? Do you see any difference? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it looks very similar to the Reebok gear.
Yeah, it
Uh,
does.
yeah, it looks like they kind of it's just a different brand doing like similar designs, obviously different. But if it's gonna be better for the sport, then cool. Like it's cool. I'm cool with it. Uh, I don't know. I kind of like the way some of the Reebok stuff looked, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, I mean the Venom stuff looks cool too. And like I said, if it's gonna be better for the fighters and everybody involved, then yeah, I'm with it.
That's awesome, man. And lastly, obviously the UFC is trying to rebook that fight for you. So hopefully, when your opponent is ready, or another opponent that they do give you instead, What kind of statement are you making for that bantamweight division?
Yeah, I'm gonna make a huge statement. I'm gonna let my fighting skills do the talking in there, but I mean, I think me not fighting this week is just gonna be worse for whoever I'm fighting now. You know what I mean? It's like I live to train and perform. So now I feel like things happen for a reason. So I feel like now you're just gonna see a better version of me. So I feel bad for the other dude.
Well, and when that time does come, good luck with that fight. Hopefully, we'll talk again soon before that fight does happen. Johnny, it was a pleasure having you on the podcast. I appreciate you taking the time for letting me interview you here, and keep training and keep your head up, man.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for reaching out. Thanks for having me on here, letting me speak. And I'm looking forward to the future. And then we'll talk soon. So